Errol Spence says he had no plans of moving to 154 until he met Terence Bud Crawford. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Errol Spence recently gave an interview, and he has some very, very interesting things to say when it comes to the Terence Crawford fight and his plans on moving up in weight. Wanted to give my 2 cents on that and answer the question whether that is cap or facts. Alright, so Errol Spence said out of his own mouth that he had no plans on moving to 154 pounds to fight Keith Thurman or anyone else without fighting Bud Crawford first.
I'm a man of my word. Like I said, people thought I was going to move up, but just like I told him when we encountered each other in Oklahoma, I said, I'm going to get these belts on my side, and I'm going to come take yours. And, this is where we at now, and I stood on that. Even if it was leaving me standing out the ring a whole year, they trying to get me to fight other people. Just the fight I wanted, so I stuck to my guns. It was like, I'm not fighting until I fight Terence Crawford.
I'm not sure if that's the truth or not. I think because Earl faced a lot of backlash when it was first announced that he was going to end up fighting Keith Thurman next. I think he had to take some time to rethink that. I think because of what happened with Terence Crawford and David Evanzian and the fight not selling at all, like only Terence Crawford's mama and uncle brought the fight. And, I think Errol Spence saw how the backlash affected that fight. And I think that quickly put doubt in his mind about accepting the Keith Thurman fight. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what kicked off the negotiation with Terence Crawford, because we all know they could have made this fight last summer and it could have easily been made. So my thing is this: if you knew last summer that you didn't want to move to 154, why were you going so hard in the negotiation? Whatever little small thing that Terence Crawford could have wanted at the negotiation, you could have, agreed to it just to make the fight. So on that part, when you put it that way, I don't agree with Earl when he says he had no intentions of moving to 154. I think if he could have gotten the Charlo fight first, he would have definitely already moved to 154. He could have got a better name than Keith Thurman. I think because the first fight they offered him was Thurman, that put a lot of doubt in his mind as well, because he's already said he was never going to fight Thurman. So, I think the fact that the Evanzian Crawford fight did horrible, and basically Terence Crawford went against the fans and took that fight, because when they announced Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman, there was not a good response to that fight. I hated it. A lot of other people hated it. A lot of other people felt like I did. Like, why y'all wasting our time? Why don't y'all just slowly negotiate the Terence Crawford fight? If we can't get the Terence Crawford fight next, we don't want the Keith Thurman fight. So you're better off just trying to make the Terence Crawford fight. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Just get it done. And, me, I do feel like that had a lot to do with it. I think, once again, if there was a better name for him to face up with, or if Boots and Virgil Ortiz weren't such dangerous fighters, that I think he would have took on another opponent, not Terence Crawford already. I think he would have snuck another fight in there, but because he was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, I accept the Keith Thurman fight. Potentially it starts to tank my pay-per-view numbers and the fans start to treat me a little different. Or I could take a Jerron Boots Ennis or a Virgil Ortiz fight, potentially get beat, and ruin the rest of my career. What do I do at 154? At that point, I'm almost a has-been anyway. I got maybe 5 years in the sports. He's in his mid-30s. a loss at this point could be detrimental to Errol or Terence. I expect one of these guys to retire after, their rematch fight. But I think that had a lot to do, once again, with why he's making these decisions. He could have very easily taken on another opponent as long as it was a decent name. Now, there's nothing wrong with Keith Thurman's name, but Keith Thurman's not the Keith Thurman he was when he was the 147-pound champ.
If you guys knew how to boil meat or grill it, this shit wouldn't be happening.
And I think because Thurman doesn't have that name and because Thurman wouldn't have sold, I think, very well, on top of the fact, once again, that fans were already ticked off because of the David Evansian situation and Terence Crawford, and the fact that, if you could easily negotiate a fight with Keith Thurman, a guy you said you would never fight, a guy you said you would never give opportunity, especially not at the titles, why can't you work it out with Terence Crawford? So I think all of that would have culminated in a horrible showing for Errol Spence Jr. I think the fans wouldn't have tuned in. Now, they would have most likely done that fight down in Texas, so the fans would have shown up to the stadium. But like when Terence Crawford fought David Evansian in Omaha, Nebraska, nobody purchased the fight. So you could sell out a stadium, but still not make any money really off the fight, or the fight not generate the revenue that it's supposed to, simply because you tick the fans off. Fans ain't having this no more.
Haven't you guys ever heard of Montezuma's Revenge?
Because there's too many easy ways to just get your fight for free. And why would I pay for it if it's something I don't support anyway? And not only that, fans have had enough of these lackluster fights, so I don't think they're going to continue to pay for things that are not of the standard that we want as boxing fans. We're not going to continue to just accept anything that these promotional companies try to throw at us. And then they want to make us pay these high dollar amounts for these fights as well. It's kind of ridiculous. Too many easy ways to get these fights now. No need to go through that. And as far as what Earl had to say, I think it's some cap in there, and I think it's some fact. I think he definitely wanted the Terence Crawford fight, but I think if the right opportunity would have came along for Earl, he would have went ahead with that and took a 154 fight if the proper name was being thrown his way. But Keith Thurman just wasn't that guy, and it wasn't the right time for Earl to move up just yet. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. That like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you like to collabo, feel free to hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are live.
I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I don't give a fuck about your mixtape. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. I don't give a fuck if your kids ate. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I don't give a fuck if you got a plan. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. I don't give a fuck if you got a man. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I don't give a fuck if you getting money. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. I don't give a fuck if it was your cousin. I'm still fucking. Keep it funky. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. You don't need to know if you gotta ask. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. If I'm fucking with you, then you gotta ask. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. Don't come to the hood, you don't have a pass. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. Be careful, don't get robbed for that Prada bag. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. Sometime you gotta let a nigga know. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. Every girl ain't a bitch, but every bitch is a hoe. Hey yo, I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I'm keeping it funky. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I'ma keep it funky with these niggas. I'ma keep it funky with these bitches. I'ma keep it funky.